Welcome to Fertilish, the podcast where we get real about fertility, infertility, and everything in between. I'm Laura.
And I'm Brandis. And whether you're knee-deep in treatments, just starting to ask questions, or somewhere in the ish of it all, you're in the right place.
Here we ditch the stigma, break down the science, and have candid conversations about the messy, emotional, and sometimes hilarious journey to growing a family and preserving your fertility.
So grab your coffee, your meds, or just your curiosity, and let's get into it. All right, so we are back for another episode of Fertilish, and today we are talking all about paying for IVF.
Yes, I think that so many people stress so much about how to pay for IVF, if it's something that's even feasible for them. And so many people, you know, when they're referred by their OBGYN to a fertility clinic, that's their first thought is, this is going to be so expensive. And it even prohibits people from going through the consultation a lot of times because they're just like, this is not something that we can afford. And so I am so fortunate that we work for just such a forerunner. For, you know, that we have, you know, Dr. Kiltz has just broken ground in affordability and accessibility, and that we can offer such amazing pricing to patients that we not only have patients that come from all over the United States to our clinics, but from so many other countries as well.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, cost is such a barrier for some people. So being able to increase the accessibility of such a cool treatment for people, it's funny because sometimes I'll be on TikTok, and probably because I work here and we post TikToks of our stuff, occasionally CNY things will pop up of people being like, hey, I found this fertility clinic and it's only this price. Is it like a scam? Am I going to get scammed? Or, you know, is this real? And it's like, I always like comment like, yeah, I work there. It's a real place. It's not a scam, but it's crazy because everywhere else, you know, is so expensive. And a lot of people travel overseas to get treatment because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny that you say that about the TikTok because I constantly see people that do the same, or I'll see like a video that's like, how are we paying for fertility treatment? And then in the comments, there's so many people that are like, I went to CNY, go to CNY, go to CNY.
Yeah. Well, and I know there are like, which we have our own grants, but I know there are like, you know, especially for those with cancer, if they're freezing eggs before chemo, there's like Live Strong grants, and there's different kind of ways to pay for it. Some people do, I've seen them do puzzles, and they'll post like IVF for growing a baby takes a village, and people can buy like puzzle pieces and kind of help kind of fund it that way. So there's different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, you know, people are having garage sales or bake-offs or, you know, lots of different things. People get really creative. And, you know, crowdfunding obviously is huge and helps people to be able to chip in a little bit at a time. And a lot of people chip in a little bit and be able to achieve a goal. And so that's really how you see your community come to really rally for you. You know, the national average of IVF is around $20,000 to $30,000 for one cycle. And the average patient is going to need more than one cycle.
Oh, yeah. We have patients here that have done, you know, many cycles to get to their goals. And, you know, they have said, you know, I've spent as much here doing all of the cycles as I would paying for one cycle there. And a lot of times that's without meds.
Yeah.
And so it can really rack up. You're not usually just paying for one cycle.
No, that's a very great point that you just made. That national average of $20,000 to $30,000 is that's a price without medications. And so I know that for our first cycle, we paid around $30,000 for the first cycle of IVF, and that was not with medications. My meds were close to $7,000. It was, you know, over $6,000. And, you know, yeah. So
and that's $37,000 for one cycle.
Right. That's right. So when it came time to starting over, we knew that that wasn't feasible for us. I actually don't know how we did it the first time, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, like that was just like not in our wheelhouse. So we started looking at other options, and there were some kind of things in between, but then that's how we came to find CNY. And you know, at first, I will admit that I was hesitant. Like, is lower cost going to mean less care? You know, and I think that that's a valid question that a lot of people ask. You know, like, well, aren't I getting better treatment or better care if I pay more money? And I can tell you that I've been a patient before I ever worked at CNY. I've been a patient at multiple clinics that cost us a fortune, and CNY that did not.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't receive any less care at CNY that I did, you know, the clinic that was $30,000. So,
Yeah.
I loved both clinics equally. So that was not an issue, you know, whatsoever. And so for those, the $20,000 to $30,000 range, I was going to break down kind of what that entails. So, you know, a lot of times at those fertility clinics, that's not going to include your medications. I don't know too many fertility clinics that include meds in their pricing. So generally you're paying the fertility pharmacy separately. So the bill that you're getting or the treatment plan that you're getting at the fertility clinic is not going to include medications. And so, and then if you're traveling to that fertility clinic for your treatment and you're doing monitoring close to home, that's going to be an additional cost as well. So if you're, you know, monitoring, and that's actually what I did with my first cycle. So we didn't have a lot of options for fertility clinics where I lived. And so the fertility clinic that we used was 5 hours away. And so monitoring and driving back and forth 5 hours one way wasn't feasible for us. So we were paying additional fees for labs and ultrasounds.
Yeah.
And so those were even additional cost. You know, those are some things to think of as well. So, you know, that $20,000 to $30,000 price, what is equal to that here for our egg retrievals is $39.99. And then we do have bundles that include medications. So we have partnered with some national fertility pharmacies that we were already working with and we're already serving our patients. And they have very amazingly offered to give our patients special discounts on pricing. So if you purchase a bundle from us, depending on what dosage of medications you need, so what happens is the provider, you know, writes out a protocol for you based on your medical history, your preconception testing, a lot of different factors. Obviously, you guys, you know, kind of write an individual protocol, and then you'll tell them, hey, this is which bundle most closely aligns with your needs.
Yeah.
So they might not use all the medications that they get.
Yeah.
And you may need an extra day or two of this medication or that medication, but it's going to be the bundle that most closely aligns with what you need. So I think that's important to mention that, like, every now and then, you know, you may need to what we call stem for an extra day or two, or maybe a day less than what you got medications for. So it's not going to be
perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so when we give you a protocol, we take into account a bunch of things. Our bundles, we have a mini, which is a lower dose bundle, a standard, and then a high dose bundle. And so each of those bundles, I think we even have an egg freezing bundle. Yeah. So there's kind of different packages we have. And I don't even tell people. So when patients come to me for a consult, I'll give them a dose and they'll say, what bundle do I fit into? And if, you know, they're a lower dose or a standard, I'll tell them that. But I'll say, you know what, though? Talk to, you know, the team when they call you into that follow-up call, because sometimes they're really good at saying, hey, you're a standard dose, but you may have to stem an extra day, or, you know, we have a lot of patients that need some extra meds. So we have them get the high dose bundle, so that way they have that kind of extra bit of leeway for extra meds, and it ends up being cheaper than having.
That's right.
So they're really good at navigating kind of which bundle you fit into, but which one, may be better.
That's right, absolutely. And the high dose is our most frequently purchased bundle, and not necessarily because all of those patients needed a high dose, but just because it's gonna work out better for them and be most cost effective in the long run.
Yeah.
And so, so that is probably our most popular bundle. So low dose is going to be 5,800. So that's going to be your egg retrieval, your medications. There's even some transfer meds included in that as well. And then that includes a fresh transfer, as long as you want to do a fresh transfer and you're not a candidate for like developing ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, and you're not doing like PGT testing. So if you take advantage of it, there is a fresh transfer there for you.
Which I'm going to bring up the fresh transfer, because some people will say, well, if I don't qualify for the fresh transfer, do I get money back, or is my frozen discounted? So the frozen transfer is discounted for a year if you do it within a year of retrieval.
That's right.
But the fresh is just kind of included. It's complimentary.
That's right.
So there is no technically money back if you can't do it depending on hormones, because it was something that was kind of, again, complimentary.
Exactly.
So that is, if you don't use it, there's no money back, there's no discount. It's just you don't use it.
That's right. And the frozen transfer, $24.95. But if you do a frozen transfer within 12 months of your egg retrieval, we discount that down to $9.95. And so considerably discounted. And then your anesthesia is included in that. So that was something, my first clinic, I wasn't anticipating when I got there for my egg retrieval, and they said that I needed to pay the anesthesiologist $750. No one had mentioned that to me before. No shade to them. I love that clinic. They're wonderful.
Yeah.
But it was a surprise. And so, so I always, because of my own experience, I always mention that to patients, and I always say, you're not going to get another bill from the anesthesiologist, because that was my experience. I did. They wanted my debit card for $750 that day for my anesthesia. So the anesthesia is included in the price of our egg retrievals. And then assisted hatching is included if needed. And then embryo glue is included in that fresh transfer. So there's a lot of different things that are included that would normally be add-ons.
ICSI's included.
Absolutely. Yes. And that comes standard with all of our IVF cycles, which is usually an additional cost at other clinics.
Yeah, and so we do include, a lot of things that are usually add-ons. And like you said, so the low-dose bundle is around $5,800, and like $37,000 compared to $5,800 is crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing that we do often as far as promotions go is we offer gift cards for 10% off. So people will buy those and use them towards treatment. So we're constantly, between grants and gift cards and payment plans, offering ways to make this more accessible to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Your family members can buy you a gift certificate. They just need to let you know, like, there's like a little confirmation number that you'll get an email for, and they just need to give you that number, and you can apply that towards your account. Even if you already have a balance with us, like let's say you're on a payment plan, which we'll talk about in a second too. Yeah, you can apply that to like a past due balance. So that is really, that's really amazing. In regards to meds, I always do recommend that you do explore your insurance benefits, because even if you don't have fertility benefits, sometimes your insurance may pay for your medications with very little copay. And so if that's your particular experience, if that's what, you have insurance that will pay for your meds, but just not your retrieval, you can do the $39.99 retrieval and use your insurance for medications. And so once you find out what medications you need, I always recommend giving your insurance a call. They may have you contact your a specialty pharmacy that they outsource sometimes, that will give you more information about those specific meds, because sometimes fertility meds have to come from a specialty pharmacy.
Yeah.
And so, I always recommend, hey, like, these are the medications that I'm going to need. These are the dosages or whatever. What's my, what is going to be my out-of-pocket cost, so that they can give you an estimate. And some of them even have like an online, you can plug in what meds you need, and it'll send you like an email with an estimate for those meds too. So, definitely check with your insurance to see if you have coverage, because if it's going to be more cost effective to do the $39.99 cycle with us and use your insurance for meds, do that. But if not, if you're going to have to pay out of pocket for meds, or you have exorbitant co-pays for meds, obviously I recommend our bundles, because that's going to be most cost effective, because you're not going to find any fertility pharmacy that's going to offer you medications that's less expensive than the bundle, if you're just like paying like flat out, like self-pay pricing.
If you're getting to, like, if you're going to buy extra meds, like the bundle, for some reason, you stimmed a couple extra days and you ran out, if you call a pharmacy too, and you're one of our patients, mention that, because a lot of times they'll even give you special pricing. And you can even ask our nurses, like, if you come for monitoring, sometimes occasionally they'll have coupons that they can kind of give you to help out with. Not
and
all
discount
the time.
programs.
But sometimes they can help you, and the nurses are great with kind of knowing grants, knowing discounts, having coupons, stuff like that.
There, some of the drug manufacturers participate in like some discount programs. A lot of those discount programs are income contingent, like how much of a discount that you get depends on your income. And so there's like an application that you have to do. It's not crazy or anything. You don't have to like give blood or, anything like that to do the application. It's pretty painless. But it does depend on your income, your household income. So, definitely like apply for those as well, because if there's a possibility that you get, maybe some of the medications for free or very low cost, why not? Those programs are there to be utilized.
Oh yeah, and anywhere, I always tell people, anywhere you can save money with this process, do it, because everything adds up after a while, especially when you're doing multiple cycles.
Absolutely. Additional services that could like impact cost is if you wanted to do PGT testing. So there's going to be a fee that you pay to CNY, which is a biopsy fee for us to biopsy your embryo. And then we send that tiny little biopsied specimen off to our genetic testing company, which is we don't own it. It's a third party that specializes in genetic testing. And so then they have a fee that you pay directly to them. That pricing is set by them. And so you pay them directly with your debit or credit card or whatever. And so that does depend on the type of testing you're getting and how many embryos are being tested. So like the price does go down per embryo. The more embryos that are tested, they kind of give you a discount. The more embryos that are tested. So that pricing comes directly from them. So I always recommend just, getting that information straight from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Well, and I always tell people, sometimes they'll say, well, cost is a big factor, especially when it comes to PGT testing. And I do always tell people, I see so many patients that try to save money up front by not paying for the testing. And they're somebody that I think would be a good fit or a good candidate for testing. And then they end up spending more money doing transfers that they maybe wouldn't have done had they done the testing. And then, we're having a follow-up talk because we've had failed transfers and now they're considering doing testing. Yeah. And now we're kind of more in the hole. So some things are worth that cost up front and will save you money in the long run.
Sure. Absolutely. And then, are like add-ons. So like if you're going to, add on a PRP, or you're going to add on, an HCG or a Neupogen wash, or you're going to add on intralipids, it's some type of infusion. or you're going to add on acupuncture before and after a transfer, or, whatever it may be, then, obviously those are additional cost as well. And we, yeah, so, but we're super transparent with our pricing. We have this amazing pricing calculator on our website that will help you to kind of get an estimate before you ever even have a consultation. You can kind of plug in what treatment you're interested in, if there's any add-ons you want to add on, and it'll give you a price. And if you want to do financing, which is really amazing that we offer. So we offer 100% approval in-house financing. So no credit checks, no income requirements, no third parties. It's directly with CNY. And everyone is approved as long as you're our patient. So that's the caveat, is you just have to be our patient.
Yeah, and that tool is cool. The price calculator on our website, it comes with a little toggle, and you can just click and toggle things on and off, and it'll be like you can have PGT or frozen embryo, like just different things you can add on. And I know patients have said that that's, accurate. Like there's no hidden fees that we have.
That's right. Yeah. Some of the things are an estimate because we won't know your specific scenario. So like the PGT testing, it's always going to be an estimate because we won't know until you've actually exactly. So they'll have like a little information and it'll say based on blah, 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 blah. And it's an estimate. And some of the things I think that we do estimate on the higher end, just to be prepared for as far as like third party pricing.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that you can find more cost effective options, and, definitely like let us know if you have questions about that. And we'll be happy to kind of help guide you. Or like monitoring, like if you're monitoring outside of CNY, that can vary greatly. So we do have partners, throughout the U.S. That are what we call verified affordable. And so that means that they are offering services in a close proximity to like what we offer services for, as far as monitoring services. And so, if you can stick with something like that, or if you have insurance coverage that's going to cover your monitoring services, I always recommend patients checking with your insurance company and see if it will cover, your blood work or your ultrasounds. We pay enough for insurance. You might as well use it.
Yeah. And so you brought up, the financing. I don't think a lot of people or a lot of clinics offer financing.
Right.
So that's like really
not in-house for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I know some people have used, like they'll sign up for credit cards and do like intro offers for no interest for 18 months or however long. So I know, that's a way people have done it as well. And then we do offer monthly grants.
Yes. We have a grant program where we give away at least one cycle. It's a package, a month. So there are certain months that there are additional cycles given away as well. So it's a bundle, or it's a package that you get. So it's IVF bundle number 2, which is our standard dose package. There's a hotel stay if you are going to certain clinics. There is a gift card to Molecular Fertility, which is our supplement company.
Supplement brand.
And then there is a membership for I think 3 months to Fertile Hope Yoga, which is it's an employee of CNY. She has a company that like offers support, meditation, yoga. There's a lot of different things there. There's like an app that goes with it. So you get a free membership to that. I think that's it.
Yeah. I think that's it.
So there are certain times of the year. So the grant program is open every month. Anyone can apply. It is completely random. There are some qualifications, like you can't have insurance coverage for fertility benefits. So that is a disqualifying stipulation in regards to our IVF grant program. And then you don't have to be a patient at CNY to apply. So yeah, anyone can apply. There's an application on our website, and then we post about it on our social media throughout the month as well. So once you have applied, it makes it super easy to just click, yes, I've applied before, and it auto-populates your information. And you can just apply it super easy again. So you just really have to fill out the information once. So it's obviously going to ask for your name, where you live, if you have a partner, how long you've been trying, and then to just like tell us about like what fertility testing that you've had, if any, what fertility treatment that you've had, if any, and then just about your story, like about your journey, what led you to this point. And then it's chosen at random, and then we notify the winner, and then they have 1 year to utilize their grant.
Yeah, so not only do we have, lower cost IVF, we have the bundles, we have financing, we offer promos on 10% off gift cards, we have the grants. So there are really, so many ways that this is accessible for everyone. And honestly, I don't know any other place that does everything that we do, and that's just such a cool thing.
I agree. We even have an additional page on our website that lists all different kinds of other fertility grants, or some of them are specific to, as you mentioned earlier, to patients that are needing to undergo oncology treatment, or have previously, underwent oncology treatment. Some of them you need to live in a specific state, or, there's different qualifications, but we have it all broken down for you on that site.
I didn't even know that was there. Now
Yes.
I can mention it to the consult. Everything's on that website.
I know. There's so much useful information. If you dive into that website, it's just amazing how much useful information there is there. So I love just what a wealth of knowledge it is for everyone.
Oh, yeah. I used to edit blogs for on there. And so there's all kinds of stuff on PCOS, endometriosis. So a helpful
No,
thing
I
for
see them.
all
I
kinds of
see the blogs that you
yeah,
that you went over and reviewed and approved.
Yeah, so that's cool. So definitely check out the website. We do have also something called an IVF guarantee, right? It's like a guarantee program.
Yeah.
I know people ask about that a lot.
Yes, our Fertile Guarantee program. We have a few different ones, and I'm going to pull it up just to make sure that I don't butcher this. So our Fertile Guarantee program, if you navigate to the affording treatment section of the website and then scroll almost all the way down to the bottom, you'll see it says Shared Risk Refund Program, the Fertile Guarantee. Okay. So we have IVF packages for using your own eggs, and then we have donor packages. So there's both there. We have an IVF guarantee package for females under the age of 35, and then from 35 to 36, and then from 37 to 39. So they are different prices depending on age, and this is for using your own eggs. So this is for up to 6 retrievals plus anesthesia, including ICSI and assisted hatching, and limited transfers. So you do have to use the embryos that you created from the first retrieval before you move on to the second retrieval. And then this includes cryopreserving your embryos and 1 year of storage. There are some stipulations that you can read below that as far as hormone levels, and then the donor packages, we have 2 of them. So one is for fresh egg fresh transfer, and one is for fresh egg frozen transfer. And this is for 3 fresh egg fresh transfer cycles is the first one. It's up to 18 fresh eggs, and it's a guarantee of 3 transfers, lab fees, ICSI and assisted hatching, unlimited transfers, including frozen embryo transfers, and cryopreservation, and 1 year of storage. The fresh egg frozen transfer package is 3 fresh egg frozen transfer cycles, up to 18 fresh eggs, guarantee of 3 transfers, ICSI, assisted hatching, unlimited transfers, cryopreservation, and 1 year of storage. And there are not any hormone stipulations on the donor packages.
Okay.
So we do have patients that feel like that they may need multiple cycles, that take advantage of those programs, those we aren't able to finance with the in-house financing. They do have to be paid in full before we start. But the pricing of them, especially like so the pricing of them equates to about one cycle at other fertility clinics, whether it's donor or own.
Yeah.
So what you would pay at most other fertility clinics is what you're going to be paying for that. For up to 6 retrievals if you're using your own eggs, and then up to 18 donor eggs.
And then if you're using your own eggs, it's like a guarantee. So if you...
That's right.
It guarantees that you get pregnant, right?
Yes. If you do not have a live birth after...
A live birth. Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you go through all of that up to 6 retrievals and limited transfers and you do not have a live birth, then you get a 75% refund.
Okay, and that's awesome because other clinics you're paying that amount, and if it doesn't work, you're just out.
That's right. That's right.
Again, you're paying it in full, but such a cool, like, opportunity.
Yeah.
Kind of a good price.
An insurance benefit, so to speak, like, hey, if this cycle doesn't work, I've got another one, that's already taken care of. If that one doesn't work, I've got another one.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We've talked about, freezing or keeping things stored. Mm-hmm. And obviously prices can always change. So obviously if you're listening to this 5 years from now, it may have changed. But as of today,
we'll do an update.
As of today, storage, and I know this offhand because I pay it every year, is $600 a year or $50 a month. You can either pay it in full or pay it monthly. And then it doesn't vary based on how many things you have frozen.
That's right.
I know of. It's just a flat fee.
So it's per specimen type. So if you have let's say you just have embryos frozen. If you have 1 embryo or you have 20 embryos, it's going to be $50 per month or $600 a year. If you have 1 egg or 50 eggs, it's going to be same price. If you have 1 vial of sperm or 15 vials of sperm, same price. But if you have eggs and embryos frozen or eggs and sperm frozen or whatever, embryos and sperm, it would be per specimen type. So you would pay, if you had 2 different type, that's right, okay. 2 different types of specimen, then it would be $100 or $1,200 a year. So $100 a month or $1,200 a year for 2. If you had 3 types of specimen frozen, it would be $150 a month or $1,800 a year.
Whenever people ask me about finance, I'm like, no, I'm medical, so like don't ask me finance questions. Call your insurance or talk to our finance team.
No, I'm not the finance guru, but
now I'm gonna have some info. Or I'm just gonna send you this podcast.
That's right. That's right.
We do upload a financial welcome packet in everyone's portal, so sometimes that gets missed. So it's under like patient documents before your consult usually. That goes over a lot of the pricing and for biopsies and all kinds of different things.
And anyone can actually find that on the resources tab of our website too.
Oh, see? Okay.
So you don't even have to wait to like schedule a consultation. So if you go to resources, and then I'm going to tell you the exact place that it says it.
See, I didn't know this either.
Yeah.
Because I just say talk to finance.
If you go to resources and then you go to new patient onboarding.
Okay.
And then scroll down just a little bit, you'll see it says a financial packet and you can download it and it's actually an issue.
Oh.
And so you can just like flip through it. And not only does it have like all of our pricing for like even stuff that's not on the pricing website, but it also has, this is what I use it for the most when I get questions about insurance before they've scheduled a consultation. I'll say, I can't, like, that's not my ministry is insurance. So I can't verify your insurance for you. We do have to wait for you to have a consultation so we know diagnosis codes and treatment codes and all the things before we can actually reach out to your insurance. Yeah. However, you can always reach out to your insurance and they'll give you information. There is actually a worksheet in here that has all of the relevant questions that you should ask your insurance company when you call them. And there's blanks for you to fill in all the blanks while you're on and take notes while you're on the phone with them, so that way you have all the information up front
cool.
to even see, like, do I want to become a patient at CNY? Like, what does this look like utilizing my insurance?
Yeah.
So it's super helpful to you. And so that is what I use it for a lot. When patients are like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to CNY, but I want to know, like, what does that look like with utilizing my insurance? So they can utilize that. They can give their insurance a call, and then it empowers them to just know more about their policy, and be able to make informed decisions about which clinic to choose, or moving from their current clinic, whatever that looks like for them.
Yeah, and that's always so helpful when you call insurance to, like, to know what to ask and what the codes are.
Because it can be overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, and then they give you those cards where it's like, to see a specialist, it's like 5% of deduct. I'm like, that means nothing to me. Like, just tell me the price. How much is it going to be?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's really helpful, and I'm glad I know that too, because to be able to tell patients that so they can kind of get ahead of it beforehand.
Absolutely. Yes. And then if your insurance company tells us something different than they told you, like, they can always pull those calls and be like, hey, no, you told me XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, what's accurate. So it just helps to be able to, like, approach it from both sides for sure.
Yeah, and it makes, you're already trying to have to understand a lot as far as, like, injections at home and this process and the menstrual cycle that you probably didn't learn about in school and all these things. And this is just one less thing that has to be hard. And
that worksheet really kind of breaks it down in a way that I feel like that most people are like, they find it easy to understand. And so, that's like a really helpful tool, I feel like, for if you do have insurance benefits, or even if you don't have fertility coverage, like, would it pay for monitoring? Like, is there some pieces that you can actually use the insurance for, to make it more cost effective for you?
Oh, yeah. I know some people do hysteroscopies with their regular OB, and insurance covers that. And we do also offer, like, cash pay prices.
That's right.
If you come here and you're paying cash for something. So, there are a lot of workarounds to super high prices, whether that be, using insurance for some things, doing cash pay for some things. So, yeah.
And, something I didn't mention earlier that I meant to is that we offer some discounts. So we offer a 5% military and veteran discount.
Okay.
We just require a military ID. And then we offer a 5% pay in full discount. So if you are just, paying in full, not utilizing the financing option, which you're welcome to do, we welcome that for sure. But if you do, we do offer up that 5% discount. And so some people choose to utilize that. And then some people choose to utilize the financing, which is exceptional. I do get asked quite frequently, well, what's the interest rate on that? And it's not an interest rate, it's a finance fee. So it's a finance fee of $250 for every 6 months that you finance it. So we offer 6, 12, 18, or 24 months. And so it depends on how long you finance it, as to, like, the finance fee that you pay. But you choose the longevity. So if you want to do 6 months, you want to do 12 months, you pick whichever one works best for you.
And so if you pick a long one and you pay it off early,
you don't pay those. They'll waive.
Okay. And there's no, like, penalty for doing that.
That's right. Yep. So if you pick 24 months and you pay it off in 18, they would waive that $250.
That's a question, like, my dad always tells me to ask whenever is there a penalty when you pay it off early? So now I know to ask.
That's right.
But yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. And then on that payment calculator that we were talking about earlier, there's actually an option on that. There's a toggle button where you can press for payment option, and it would show you, depending on, like, how long you wanted to finance it and how much you wanted to put down, how much your down payment would be and how much your monthly payment would be.
Awesome. So yeah, there's all these tools, and then if you still have questions after any of it, you can always call our main line and ask to talk to finance or patient accounting.
Absolutely. If you are an established patient of CNY, which means that you have already, like, scheduled a consultation and you have access to your patient portal, you can also send a message in your patient portal to patient accounting as well.
Yeah, and that's easy because sometimes there are, like, hold times.
That's right.
Depending on incoming calls, so sending a message in the portal may be easier as well.
That's right, absolutely. Or if you think of a question at 8:00 at night, you can just send it in the portal and not have to wait till the next. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think if there's any other costings that I know of. Is there anything that we haven't hit on?
I don't think so. Let me look at my notes. I think that was kind of the majority of everything that we had planned on covering. But definitely check into your insurance, like utilize your insurance to the fullest of its ability. Because I think that there's so much left on the table without people exploring their insurance benefits, and they end up paying for things that could have been covered by their insurance. And again, in my opinion, we pay so much for insurance already. We might as well let them pay for what they will pay for.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, yeah, use everything you can.
Yes, for sure.
Well, paying for IVF is stressful, and so hopefully this helped you, feel less stressed. Go on our website, access that page, apply for grants, and start looking at some of these things, and hopefully it takes some stress off.
Yeah, absolutely. Do a deep dive into the website too. There's lots of resources there for you. And if you have any questions, just DM us or cnyfertility.com/fertilish. You can always send us a message that comes to Brandis and I. We always appreciate your likes, follows,
ratings, reviews.
Rating. That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.